everybody, it's Amy Head with New Perspectives for Life in Marietta, Georgia. Today is Thursday, August 14th, 2014, and I hope you are having a great day today. We just spent some time together this past Monday, and at the end of our video on Monday, I mentioned that I would probably be seeing you later this week, and here we are. Little did any of us know that when we were filming that video on Monday, several hours later on that same evening, we would learn about the news of Robin Williams, one of the most beloved comedians of our time, having passed away that evening. And at the time they weren't sure what the cause of his passing was, but we have since learned that it was suicide, and that's been really tough, I know, for the entertainment industry, as well as just for the fans and the many people around the world who loved all of his work. He was such a comedic icon, but not even just that, he really had such a heart for people. We know that he went and did his comedy routines for soldiers who were serving our country. He would go to hospitals and visit children who were sick with terminal illnesses. He had a family of his own who he loved dearly, and we've heard lots of stories about that, especially these past several days. So in thinking about all that, it's really been on my mind a lot, and possibly on your mind as well, just thinking about how could someone who had found so much fame and success, really just not be able to overcome the struggles that he was struggling with. And he's not the only one. There have been countless people in the entertainment industry, and truly just countless people in our community, in our world, possibly even in our own families or work environments that we know who have struggled even throughout their success and just could not seem to overcome those deeper inner struggles, those private moments of difficulty and pain and hurt. And it's just really something to think about, I think, because, we talk a lot about happiness, we talk a lot about success, what makes up those things, and no matter how much we can look for those things outside of ourselves, the internal process of the mind, of the brain, of our thoughts, of our feelings, of our beliefs, those are really what drive everything else. And if we feel like we don't have management over some of those, or honestly, if we don't have management based on chemical imbalances or some neurological or biological factors or some heredity factors, that makes it even harder to triumph over those situations, over those elements. And like we saw with Robin Williams, he had many bouts of success personally triumphing over those elements even through the struggle. He got sober, he went to rehab, he even was interviewed about all that, where you really felt like, even though you could still kind of see the pain and struggle in his eyes and you could kind of see it just in his face, it really sounded like he came through it. And then for whatever reason or reasons, or maybe no specific reasons at all, the struggles started to consume him again. I think when we're thinking about that, I think we can all relate on some level, even if we don't struggle with addiction, even if we don't struggle with clinical depression. Everybody struggles with a sense of self-being, self-worth, self-preservation, success, how to handle that. A couple of the interviews that I heard, not really interviews with Robin Williams, but commentators speaking of his life, a lot of the kind of the facts and things that they were alluding to were that he didn't really begin to struggle with addictions until he began to find fame and success. And we hear that a lot, and I sometimes think that we think that's out in the distance, and if we're just a regular person doing a regular job, we don't have those same struggles. But honestly, I think a lot of us do struggle with success, or even just the idea that, gosh, if I'm seen in this high of regard now, what do I have to do to keep that level of regard or to top that? How do I keep going and getting better and better and achieving more and more? And that in and of itself can be pressure enough to affect ourselves and to affect our abilities to cope and to manage the stressors around us, whether we're in the public eye or not. just in our own private eye, in our own personal eye and view and perspective on our lives. I think a lot of times it's really helpful to kind of take a step back when we are in the midst of some of this and just try to gain perspective around life. You know, even students, I mean, it used to be maybe college students, but now, gosh, elementary school, middle school, high school, everything is so competitive. Pee-wee sports, you know, elementary age level sports, I mean, high school age sports, college sports, everything is so competitive that we've got to prove and get to the next level, or we kind of feel like we'll be written off, or we won't make it to the next level because other people will pass us by. That is a lot of stress. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot to try to figure out how to handle and manage, and sometimes, whether we even, regardless of even chemical imbalances, it's just a lot to handle. But then you add chemical imbalances or neurological situations on top of that, it can be very difficult. So something that I find helpful is the coaching or the counseling process, because it's not that life coaching or counseling or even hypnosis are going to take away any of these stressors or any of these physiological or biological things going on. But what the counseling process or the life coaching process or the hypnosis process can do is it can help build in and build up our coping mechanisms, our coping strategies, and our ability to function under that kind of pressure that either we put on ourselves, or that society puts on us, or that our profession or our public persona puts on us. So if you're struggling, or if you know someone that's struggling with anything that just feels too hard to manage, too big to manage, or you just don't know what to do to manage it, those are good trigger signals to seek some kind of support. It doesn't mean you're crazy. It doesn't mean you're incompetent. It doesn't mean you're incapable. What it probably means is that you are actually extremely strong and capable and competent, but there's just so much in the picture that sometimes it helps to have an objective eye, help to kind of sort that out and figure out how to manage and strategize around all of those things. I hope that's helpful for you. It's really hard when we see someone with so much talent and so much to give and so much life, larger than life personality, in their darker moments just feel that they can't get through it. And I just really, really want to encourage anyone and everyone that if you are in those darker moments, let's at least try the counseling or the life coaching or the hypnosis process, so that, because you're worth it and we need you and you contribute to this world in your own way, and that alone has value, and we don't want to lose that. So if you or anyone you know is struggling, I would highly encourage you to encourage them, or to encourage yourself to seek some support so that we and you can continue growing through this process called life. Thank you so much for joining me, Amy Head, New Perspectives for Life in Marietta, Georgia. I hope you have a great rest of the day, a great start to the weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much.